Happy Saturday, my friend. I am parked in the gym parking lot and doing my chat with Christy. Maybe I should start calling them car chats with Christy because this is where they happen. So today, what's on my heart and my mind that I want to share some thoughts about is going into a new year. Now listen, I love New Year's energy. Do you? It's such a clean, fresh slate, new chapter, new start, and it just feels good to just start fresh, right? And I feel like most humans want to set goals and they want to set an intention or a word or a focus. And that is awesome. And I love it. And I'm all about it. And also my belief in my experience is that, and I've done a little digging with some statistics and things like that, is that by this time of the month, what is it? It's January 20 something, right? 24th. Most people have already given up on their New Year's resolution. The vast majority of people, I think it's like 80% of people by this time in January have already just given up. Isn't that kind of tragic? But of course, I'm fascinated with humans and human behavior and why we do what we do. And I think I'm starting to get on to something about why that happens. And I have a different approach. I have had a different approach for about 7 years. I've tried something entirely different at the first of the year. And to be honest, these last 7 years, I've actually created real change, real transformation, real momentum with the way that I set up my new year. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. And I actually want to touch on this because I'll touch on it at the end as well. I am doing our first Radiant Queens Circle call. It's going to be this next week. And if you're new to Radiant Peace Collective, you're invited. And it isn't for everyone. There's this very specific energy that we create there and that we host and that we cultivate and curate. And the women inside of this group are absolutely incredible. We are highly sensitive. We are emoters, we're feelers, but we're also driven, ambitious, have a lot of things that we desire. And sometimes that can present unique problems that we talk through, unique challenges, I will say. So we're going to do our first Queen's Circle next week. You are invited. If this resonates, if you like what you're hearing and feeling, and this feels like we might be your people, I'd love to talk to you one-on-one to see if it's a good fit. Because like I said, I'm very aware and specific about the energy in this group. So I'd love to hear from you if it resonates, to see if it would be a good fit both ways. So we are going to be talking about this next week inside of Radiant Queens. I have 2 specific beautiful words that I'm going to unveil. I'm not going to say them here because this is just unfiltered, right? That is more of a structured, we talk about these concepts, but we don't just conceptually talk about them. We work them into our bodies. We work them into our identities, into a way that we actually are able to, like I said, cultivate real transformation in kind of a less popular way. It's not set a goal. It's not 75 hard, no offense, but sorry, not sorry. It's not my jam. And I have big, strong feelings about those things for good reason. It's not that approach. It's not hustly. It's not grindy. It's not warrior. It's not masculine energy. It's a totally different approach that I have found to be so much more effective than the way I used to do things, which was goal, reverse engineer, very analytical. And I am freaking excited about this next week. But what I want to talk to you about today is something that I've noticed among highly driven and ambitious, but highly emotional women, which are my people. I have a lot of really dear friends who are that way. I've been very blessed to have a lot of really amazing women and people within my world and my circle. And I've noticed a couple of things. I'm going to talk through 3 of them on this quick video. And again, I want to hear from you. I want to hear if this resonates. My intention is to connect with your heart and to slightly elevate maybe what's going on there just a little bit. That's my intention. And so number 1 is I've noticed a lot of women are exhausted. It's a quiet exhaustion that we're not really talking about. And even people who you see on social media selling things and looking like they're doing really well, and that you would maybe pattern your life after and want to be like someone that you might look up to. To be real with you, I mean, I've reached the very top of my company within the gut health space. And so personally, I'm only saying this because it matters. I am one of those people that have, like, the very small percentage of people that actually make it to the top of a beautiful company like that. And I find myself feeling just this quiet exhaustion of not necessarily being tired because I need a better routine in my life, but being tired because I feel like I'm not awake and alive inside this life I'm living. Have you ever felt that? It's feeling like it's not like I need a better routine. I need to learn how to inhabit my life, not input a new structure. And that might look like feeling floaty. That might look like feeling uninspired. It could feel like burnout. It could feel like being tired all the time. Maybe physically you have some symptoms of just like dragging. Or maybe you just feel like you don't have anything more to give. Or maybe you're doing all the right things, but you just don't feel lit up in your life. Quietly, you maybe haven't even shared this with anyone because maybe you are one of those people that's running a really successful business who people look up to. Maybe you're already a really powerful leader and people want to be like you and they come to you for advice and you have all these great things to share. And then at the end of the day, in the quiet moments, you're like, I'm freaking tired. I'm tired. I can relate with that. And that's why I'm here talking to you right now, is because that honestly has been a huge part of my journey. That's why I'm so passionate about sharing these things, because I know I'm not alone in that. So number one is just this exhaustion from feeling like you're missing your life and like your life is going on without you and you're not inside the life that you're living. The second one is maybe a really quiet grief from noticing that you are waking up in a life that you love, but you are just coming out of survival mode. So maybe you're feeling like you're not inspired. You don't feel like you're not here on purpose. You feel like you've created this beautiful life, but now you're coming out of maybe a really big season where you were cracked wide open. You've had a lot of life changes. Maybe it's kids growing up and leaving the home and you have a different identity. Maybe it's going through a divorce. Maybe it's going through a remarriage. Maybe it's going through losing someone you love. I mean, there's a bunch of different things it could be, but maybe you're waking up inside of a life that looks good and that you like, but again, you just feel like you don't know how to show up as this version of you. You're carrying, maybe it's not because you're doing too much, maybe because you're carrying too much. You're carrying old versions of yourself that you haven't released yet or let go of. You're carrying old identities, old pain, old hurt, a lot of old things that maybe served you for a while, but now at this season where you find yourself, they just simply don't align with who you are now after this big life change and who you want to be and who you feel called to be in this coming chapter. Okay, so that's another thing that I've noticed and that I want to talk about, getting to the root of it. This is why it's not a hustle grind. And I know we get a lot of like meaning around those words, and I get that they carry a lot of emotional weight for different people in different ways, but that's why it isn't an external approach to change an internal identity. It's the opposite. So we're talking about the things that at the first of the year might be something you're tempted to override with an external, I'm gonna do this thing to my body and then it's going to change how I feel inside about my body, or I'm going to do this thing to my finances or my business and it's going to change the way I feel inside. It's an inside out approach instead of an outside in approach. Okay. The last one I want to talk about is, and this is something I've been very curious about and passionate about and highly about, I've tried a bunch of different things to see what feels good for me, is I don't believe it's about time management anymore. And that again is something that we get all hypey about at the beginning of the year with the planners, and I'm a planner girl, trust, with the planners and the Excel spreadsheets or all the things to like plan these lives that will again externally change things so that we feel different on the inside. But what I'm talking about is, how do you take something like time management? I don't believe it's about that anymore. I believe it's about something in here. I believe it's about energy management. And that might make you go, oh my gosh, what the heck? Maybe you know that and you're like, well, duh. Well, what do you do with that? Are you with me? Okay, it's about energy management, and life goes on, and lives, and all these challenges come up, and all these things that are everywhere you look, on your phone, on the internet, on social media, in your home. All the people in there are constantly throwing things at us that can drain our energy like that. So what do you do with that? Okay, it's about time. It's not about time management. It's about energy management. What now? Well, this is what I'm all about. And I've reached my 10 minutes, so I'm going to close this thing up. But I believe, and I am passionate about, and I'm clear and centered and aligned on where I'm going in 2026. And it's the 7th year that I've done an intention in this modality that I'm going to share, that it actually makes things shift. It actually creates the breeding ground to actually create what it is you want this year. Instead of it being an external goal or some hard program that's supposed to be massively, 1111 on the video, massively effective, but it's not sustainable. I'm talking about sustainable transformation that feels good, that feels peaceful, that feels sustainable, that feels like it makes you light up. It makes you feel alive. And it makes you feel like you get to actually inhabit your life, not watch your life through the lens of life is so busy. When do things ever slow down? No more of that. We're going to talk through it. So again, if you feel called, and if this feels like, yep, she's saying things that I've never been able to verbalize, or if there's a part of you that's like, okay, yeah, that's maybe an approach that feels good this year, I would love to talk to you and see if Queen's Circle, it's going to be a monthly get together, because I know lives, we don't have time. Sometimes it's just not feasible to do a weekly. I've done those, I do those at times, but this one is a lighter touch. So it's a monthly get together where we talk through these concepts that I'm sharing on Substack written and on YouTube. You get to marinate over this content that's totally free. It's just a way I feel like I'm supposed to show up and share things that are important to me, because I know I'm not alone. And we get to talk through it, but not only talk through it, we get to actually take these concepts and again, work them into your body. So you actually feel different, work them into your identity. So it can actually draw you back to you and divine you, which my belief and my experience, my actual lived experience that is on paper, factually proven, is that when we learn how to connect with that higher version of ourselves, which I call divine self, you have all your answers. Things are not chaotic. It's not overwhelming. Your burnout is not there. You have confidence. You know your next step. You don't look to some source. You stop over consuming all the content around you that is absolutely overwhelming. And you start to turn here and here to find your next step. It is my experience that that's when those health goals that you have for your body start to actually shift into your physical reality. That is my experience, is that when we're able to connect with that divine version of us through these things I'm talking about, is that our finances start to actually change, because we're operating from a higher vibration that isn't about an external change. It's about an intrinsic internal shift that then aligns us so that those external circumstances that we desire cannot be kept from us. Abundance financially, abundance in relationships, abundance in whatever it is that you want to create abundance or shift in starts to become yours, because you become an energetic match for it and it cannot stay away from you. This is my experience, lived experience on paper. Like, there's no refuting this. It's like irrefutable. So I'm excited to step into this. And if this resonates, and if you feel like, oh yeah, this is how I want to spend 2026, is a monthly get together in this Radiant Queen Circle where we talk about these things, we integrate, we embody these things, right? Then if you decide that this resonates, reach out to me. I'd love to see if you're a fit for this group. And I have 2 courses that are already created. They're 8 weeks each, self-guided. One of them is called Pillars. It's the pillars that I have, again, lived experience on overcoming a lot of trauma, on learning how to appreciate and manage my highly sensitive nature, aka an empath, who feels absolutely rocked by the emotions of people around me. I've learned how to manage that, and these tools are within the Pillars course. Also just owning your energy. A lot of times we can be so affected by the things around us that we feel just depleted and we don't know how to create from an energetic place. Dealing with emotions, dealing with boundaries and how to do those and not feel guilty for it. All these things are found inside of the Pillars course. And then I have a different course that's called Untamed Goddess. That's all about owning. There's 5 specific parts of you that we go into, and it is so freaking fun. And we get to remember and rediscover those beautiful parts of you that are all over the place. That strong part of you that knows how to get shit done. That one part of you that's really soft and tender and compassionate, that's nurturing to yourself and others. The part of you that's just lighthearted and fun, that maybe shakes her booty, or she has all these really fun things that she does. She's very present in the moment and here to have fun. And then the version of you who's very organized and who can be a good leader. And as you move through all of these, you're accessing a version of you that can rock your life from a very aligned, peaceful, radiant, and confident place. So that's Untamed Goddess. If you decide that this sounds good to you, you get to choose between one of those courses that are normally $444, a gift to you. When you decide that Radiant Queens, the monthly get together, is a fit for you for 2026, you get to pick one of those foundational courses to set you off on an absolute intentional foot starting this year. Isn't that exciting? You guys, this is my heart. This is my passion project. And I'm so glad that you found me and us. And I can't wait to see if this resonates. What resonates? If you have questions, thoughts, it's going to be an exciting week. So let me know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for being here. Sending love. Bye.